Today, we're diving into a powerful and honestly a heartbreaking true story from northern Nigeria. It kicks off with a horrific accident, but the real tragedy, well, that lies in what happened next. And believe me, it is truly shocking. So, our story is about Aisha and her husband Musa. And from what we know, they were living a pretty simple, quiet life. Just a regular couple, part of their community, with absolutely no idea that one single evening was about to completely shatter their world. Just picture it. A totally normal evening, the sun's probably setting, and Aisha and Musa are out for a ride on their motorcycle. It's one of those peaceful, everyday moments, filled with laughter and small talk, the kind of thing they've probably done 1,000 times before. But this ride, this would be their last one together. So how did it all go so wrong? One moment, everything's normal. The next, out of nowhere, a reckless driver just slams into them. The impact is absolutely catastrophic. Aisha is thrown from the motorcycle and dragged along the rough road. Now Musa, he manages to escape with only minor injuries, but for Aisha, the fight for her life had just begun. In those first few moments and hours, it's all about survival. Aisha is rushed to the hospital, and her life is literally hanging by a thread as doctors scramble, doing everything they can to try and save her. And look, we have to be really clear about how bad this was. This wasn't just a broken bone, not even close. Her knee was completely shattered, her skin was torn away, and most critically, her intestines were actually exposed. She was in critical condition, surrounded by machines, fighting through an amount of pain that's just unimaginable. So while the medical team is fighting for her life inside the hospital, a whole different battle starts brewing outside. The community is outraged. A hit and run is a huge deal. And they wanted accountability. They were demanding justice for Aisha. They wanted that driver found and prosecuted. Okay, this is where the story takes its first really dark turn. Because right when you'd expect the family to be leading that charge for justice, something completely unexpected happens. And it all centers on Aisha's husband, Musa. So let's just pause here for a second and ask this question. Your wife is lying in a hospital bed, fighting for every single breath, the victim of this horrible crime. What do? What is your first priority? Well, the answer here is just stunning. So on one side, you've got the whole community demanding that the police find this driver. But on the other side, you have Musa. He goes to the police station, but not to push the investigation. No, he was there to get his damaged motorcycle back. And then he did the unthinkable. He officially withdrew the case. And just like that, because of her husband's actions, the person responsible for Aisha's life-altering injuries walked free. No investigation, no accountability. Her suffering was just left unavenged. But the story doesn't end there. The betrayal was about to get so much deeper. What he did next was just this profound act of abandonment. While Aisha was still in the hospital, fighting for her life, Musa made another decision. One that would completely redefine her entire future. Now, to really get what happens next, we need a little bit of cultural context. In this part of northern Nigeria, there's an Islamic provision that allows a man to divorce his wife with a simple declaration, either spoken or written. It can be a very, very straightforward process. And Musa used this provision. While Aisha was still in the hospital, completely oblivious to all this, he sent a short, cold note to her family. The message was blunt. It said he had divorced her. Just like that. While she was at her absolute most vulnerable, her marriage was over. And the question that just hangs in the air is, why? Right? Why would you abandon your wife when she is literally fighting to survive an accident you were both in? What could possibly be the motive for something so cruel? Of course, the whispers started spreading all through the community. People started speculating. Was her recovery just too uncertain? Maybe too expensive? Were her injuries just too heavy a burden for him to deal with? Or, as some people suggested, did he just want to start over? With a new wife, one who wasn't marked by this tragedy? We don't have his side of the story, only the speculation left behind by his action. So, with justice totally denied and her marriage dissolved without her even knowing, the focus of the story now shifts entirely to Aisha. It becomes about her incredible struggle, not just for recovery, but for her own dignity. And here's the truly tragic irony in all this. As Aisha slowly, painfully begins her recovery, she has absolutely no idea she's been abandoned. Her family, just trying to protect her. They shield her from the devastating news, letting her focus on one thing and one thing only: healing her broken body. And this really gets to the heart of it. Aisha was suffering from two different kinds of wounds. First, there were the horrific physical injuries. But that second wound, the betrayal from the one person who should have been her protector, that was a pain that once she found out would cut so much deeper. But here's a really important final point. In the face of Musa's total abandonment, the community didn't turn away. They were torn, between sympathy for Aisha and just pure outrage at her husband, but they rallied around her. They stepped in to offer the support that her own husband had taken away. A small beacon of humanity in this incredibly dark story. And that leaves us with this final thought. Aisha's story is about so much more than a tragic accident. It really forces us to ask ourselves, when you are stripped of your health, your security, and your closest relationship all at once, what does it truly mean to fight, not just for your life, but for your dignity?